Buenos dias, Gunners Collective. Back at it, you already know, like a smack addict, right? And as you can tell by that thumbnail, what I wanted to talk about today, man, is a little something different. I wanted to talk about um sureñas, right? Sureñas de Modesto, Northern California. Yes, indeed, them upstate sureños and sureñas. Now, what you need to understand is within the sureño gang, Southsiders, there are a lot of hyenas that are sympathizers, that are affiliated, affiliated, utilized, used, or basically are homegirls that grew up in the barrios, grew up in the neighborhoods, and are with the business, man. You can't take anything from a woman, man. Let me tell you something. A woman will get with it, and in that fashion, and menudo style, a lot of people sleep on women thinking that they're just a woman. They're not gonna retaliate for something that goes down, or they're gonna keep their fucking mouth shut, or in that fashion. If they knew better, they fucking do better. But at the end of the day, and quiet as it's kept, man, these women will wiggle. They will wiggle and they will make shit happen. Now, as far as the norteños go, there's never been anything uh, 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 in concrete or any fact that there's a norteña, right? There's a lot of chicks and a lot of hyenas that are sympathizers to the cause and that say that they're norteñas and they wear red paños and they dress as such. And there's also been a lot of hyenas that are really with the business, man. They're really dedicated and down for the norte, but at the same time, that's never been factual and actual, meaning that there's never been such thing as a norteña, right? And I'm not going to speak saying that the sureños are the same way, saying that sureños are, in fact, a part of the gang. But I do know, man, that I've ran into some hyenas claiming sureña that were about the business. I had a few things, and I'm going to tell you a little story before I go into the main story. One time it was me and a little homeboy of mine, man, and we're cooking back. At this time it was late '90s, man. We're going for dollar, rock for rock out there in the West, and we were out there just trying to get a little paper, trying to put a little paper in our pocket and live, to survive another day. And we happened to pass by Mac Park, which anyone that knows in Merced, that's McNamara Park. That's a notorious park in the middle of 12th Street, right where the Ghetto Boys neighborhood is. Everybody knows Ghetto Boys from the rapper GB. It's his neighborhood. Anyways, they're very closely affiliated to my barrio, which is Dead End. So we're cruising, man, and we happen to see a big group of Chicanos, in the park. So, of course, man, without fucking further ado, man, we had to pull up one time for your mind, jump off the whip, and go see what's cracking. And there's actually about 2 or 3 sureñas, which was very rare at that time to see, 3 big hyenas. And they were fighting norteñas, right? And you had a whole bunch of norteños that were there and a couple sureños, and they were egging these hyenas on to get down. So I was scared. There was hyenas fucking slanging them everywhere, right? And me being a little bit older than everyone else, I was tripping because, for first and foremost, man, you didn't really see nothing like this where norteños and sureños were actually with these chicks, man, making them fight. And this shit didn't go on, man. Usually it was fucking one and done. You see a motherfucker, you blow shit off. That was it, right? So to see this group gathered, and they were younger, but to see this group gathered, man, and to be fucking actually having felony fights all up in the motherfucking middle of McNamara Park, which is a barrio, was rare in itself. And a couple other norteños pull up, man. They're looking at me kind of like, "What's up, gun? You know what I mean? What's this shit all about?" And I said, "Bro, shit, I can't call it like an alcoholic, motherfucker. I'm on the same shit as you. I'm out here just trying to get paper, and I pull up on this shit. What the fuck is this?" And quietly as it's kept, man, these sureños were giving these norteñas the business, and I'm not going to sit here and fucking promote and say, "Oh yeah, I'm on this side or that side." Nah, man, it's a Mexican Chicano thing on mine. But I will say that this particular day, these 3 sureños, man, they were dealing with these hyenas. Now, you got to understand, all these little young norteños were all little pretty little young norteñas getting slanged all over the place. And these big old sureños, man, they look like they came straight out of fucking the movie Mi Vida Loca, right? They were some big chicks, man, and they were handling their business. And I remember at one point, one of the norteños had a red paño on her head. That's a red bandana for those of you that don't know. And it got pulled out of her hair. And the sureña chick grabbed it and she put it under her feet. She started stomping on it and spit on it. Now, me being a little bit older, man, I was feeling some type of way. But of course, man, they're women. It is what it is. I'm looking at their homeboys like, man, you guys better deal with that or we're going to deal with you. And one of the other norteños that pulled up, he was feeling some type of way. And he had pulled up on a bike, believe it or not. He was one of your local motherfuckers that used to cruise on a bike, be everywhere, watching everything. His awareness was up. And as soon as he seen that, he felt some type of way, man. And quietly as it's kept, and I'm not here to promote any violence towards women, but he took flight. He immediately took flight, picked up his bike, slammed it on the chick's head and all that, right? Everyone took off running. I merely walked off with the homeboy shaking my head like, it's a cold game. All this shit is a cold game. All this over a bandana, right? Or over some he said, she said. But quietly as it's kept, man, I will say that the Sureños and the Norteñas, for what they call themselves, have been wiggling for a long time, feeling some type of way, fighting a fight that not even the Norteños are sure about why, you know? But it's been happening. Anyways, I wanted to go into the story I came across, man, in Modesto. It happened in Modesto. And it's just another cold game, man, of how Highness can get caught up in the mix of the north-south issues, man, when they don't even really know what's going on, man. Like I said, their old man could be a homeboy or a Sureño, and so they feel some type of way, you know. They feel like repping what he's repping is going to bring them closer together. You know what I mean? Hey, Sasuke, if you're going out there and you're Sureño, Sasuke, I'm a Sureña. Yeah, but you ain't even gotta do that. But I want to do it because I love you, right? This is how they feel, and the vice versa. Sometimes, man, the Highness is the gang member. The guy's just a square bear, you know, an L7, man, and the next thing you know, the motherfucker got a blue or red paño and he's rocking the good rhyme. You know, it is what it is. I've seen many different situations, and Vatos do as such. Anyways, trip out on this story. This happened in Modesto, on the north side of Modesto, man. And for those of you that don't know, Sureños have been established for a very long time in Modesto. Okay, of course, you're predominantly going to see Norteños, and there is a lot of DO, a lot of dropout gang members now in Modesto. There's always seems to be a big influx of people from San Jose that move out to Modesto. I don't know if this is because of the cost of living out in San Jose, so they had family and they wiggle to Modesto, but it's always been known as Little Sanjo, man. There's a lot of autos from Sanjo. Anyways, with more notorious gang members coming from San Jose, and don't trip, man, Modesto be holding their own too, you're going to have a big influx of a lot more hitters. A lot more characters that are willing to go that extra mile, vato, you know? And as such, this is what's happening. You're having a lot more Sureño gangs established than there once was, a lot more Norteño gangs, and a lot of vatos that people don't know up in the mix. And anyways, you know, the north-south issues are going to still arise. They're still going to be fucking pleito. Vatos are still going to handle their business. Anyway, so trip out on this little story. In Modesto, California, a 24-year-old white man named Jesse Seaborn, right, along with 5 fucking co-defendants, sat accused of second-degree murder, you know? And the victim was a vato named Eric Gomez, and he was only 20, and he was shot to death. You know, he was a reputed Norteño gang member who had lived just a few minutes' drive from the working-class Modesto neighborhood where Seaborn was raised. The police estimate that there's as many as 10,000 gang members in Stanislaus County alone. And that's where Modesto is located. And most either are Norteños or Sureños, 2 of California's most notorious Latino street gangs, you know. The feud between them often turns deadly, you know, and it has, man, like from way back in my days, man. It's you know, Vatos are playing to win. Vatos are playing to win. They're not fucking going there to lose. I guarantee you that. Sasuke, they ain't taking no shorts. This was one instance, you know. Seaborn and his co-defendants were Sureño gang members hunting for rivals on Valentine's Day in 2013. They were out there trying to get it, you know. Many times my homeboys would pull up on me. Hey, you want to go hunting? So I was scared. They weren't looking for fucking ducks. They were looking for vatos that better duck. You know what I mean? And in that fashion, I used to decline, homie, because I wasn't the type to like to go hunting, man. I was the type to pull up on you and blow your shit off, right? Blow your whole mascara backwards. And you knew I was coming. You knew who I was. I knew who you were. There was none of that fucking hunting, because that's when a lot of mistakes happen. Anyways, they were looking in Valentine's Day 2013. The motherfuckers was out there wiggling, and they found Gomez out on a walk with his girlfriend. Brendan was not saying that Seaborn had fired the gun. In fact, the accused shooter, Giovanni Borosio, had evaded arrest and is believed to be in Mexico. So another person shot, right? Of course, everyone's trying to point the finger at the white boy Seaborn, who was a Sureño. Hey, he's the one who did it. But in fact, it was someone else, you know? Seaborn was present at the scene when Gomez was killed, but according to the prosecution, Seaborn set the entire chain of events in motion, right? A few hours before the shooting, when he and 2 of his co-defendants tagged a mural about dead Norteños, right? So they basically crossed out some Norteños in an alley behind the building where Gomez lived. Seaborn and the others were caught in the act and beaten by the Norteños, right? So basically they were out there tag banging, you know what I mean? Fuck you, what's this soul, right? And they got caught up. Some Norteños seen them and fucking plaqueated their ass, basically. They got beat up, right? But they got away with just a few scrapes and bruises. But the prosecution argued that the spray painting over a rival's mural was an aggressive act intended to incite violence. The equivalent of firing a shot. Basically, they fired the first shot. Oh, you want to tag? Okay, fuck you, Pac-Man. Hey, I'm a homie now, right? Yeah, Vatos were going to get down. Um, by this event, this set off a whole chain of events, and Vatos were going to get killed. So, anyways, in California, gang enhancements became law in the 1980s at a time when chaos and violence in some of the state cities reached alarming levels, right? The center of the crisis was in Los Angeles. There were more than 800 homicides in 1987. There are multiple reasons behind the explosion of violence: the crack epidemic, the broad decline of the inner city economy, waves of new immigration, but much of the killing was gang-related. Foot soldiers in turf battles shooting one another for revenge and sport. By some estimates, there were as many as 45,000 Chicanos and 25,000 black gang members in Los Angeles County in 1988 handling their business, right? And the reason that this comes into play, man, is they charged these people that were caught up in this killing of this Vato Gomez, this norteño, with gang terrorists, you know, gang terrorism, basically. They're gonna fucking amount any type of fucking crime. When you go out there and you do a shooting, this is a little game. When you go out there and you do a shooting for the benefit of a gang, man, they're gonna hit you with a whole bunch of gang enhancements. They're gonna use fucking things from way back in the days that don't even fucking have anything to do with your crime or your particular charge, but they're going to incorporate it in there. That's how the district attorney does it, man. They're trying to cross you out, basically. What they're trying to do is eradicate gang members, man, off the streets. And in this case right here, of course, they hit them all with gang enhancements. In Modesto, the vast majority of documented gang members are Latino, and most of them affiliate, however, loosely with either Sureños from Southern California or Norteños from the northern part of the state. The line dividing the two groups is imaginary and constantly in flux. Each group has its own symbols. The number 13 for Sureños, 14 for Norteños, colors red and blue, all that. Even their own gangster rap. Everyone's. But the lines are crossing now, man. Where motherfuckers ain't really tripping off that. Let me see. You have CLS over there, Celeste Loco Sureños. You have there's just a whole bunch of different Sureño gangs that are springing up out of nowhere, in Modesto. And of course, in Modesto, you're going to always have the gangs like, Deep South, the West Side Boys, North Side, 8 Ball, Night Owls, OGLs, Four Corners, all these old school gangs, that have been around for a minute. Anyway, so what happened in this thing was, these Jainas, these Sureñas, what they call themselves, man, they got caught up with these Vatos, and for no reason other than just kicking it with them or whatever, they felt like they should participate in what was about to go down. And these Sureños, by getting beat up, felt some type of way. They felt some type of way, man, and they were going to come back on a whole lot of gang shit, right? And they did, man. They did. They fucking tracked this kid down, man. This kid that was just walking down the street with this Jaina on Valentine's Day, minding his own business, and they jumped him. They jumped him and they stabbed him, and then they ended up shooting him, right? And this was an innocent Vato. He probably looked the part. Maybe he had a little rocha. He was wearing a little red shirt. And you got to understand, man, in Modesto, not everybody are gang members, but everybody are Chicanos. So they're going to have that look, They're going to have that twist to their style. They're going to have that Chicano flavor. And, it predominantly being a northern city, Vatos are going to wear red. Even if they're not affiliated with the Norteños, man, they got an affinity to it, man. That's what everyone else is wearing around them. You kind of adapt to your surroundings, if you feel what I'm saying. There's a lot of residents and Vatos from down south, from LA, that be wearing a Dodger shirt or whatever the case may be. And they're not even Sureños. They just do it because, man, that's what's around them, and they're just blending in, homes. You know what I mean? They're just trying to live. But anyways, this youngster, he gets caught up. And, these Vatos are out there hunting. Retaliation is a must where they're from, and they catch this Vato slipping with this Jaina. And, the cool part about this story is why I wanted to touch on it was the majority of the culprits or the people that did this were Jainas. They were chicks. There was about 6 chicks and about 2 or 3 Vatos that did all this. And Sureñas, and they went all out. Of course, in the end, man, one of them flips and takes everyone down. And they caught a lot of time over this. It was a pretty big case, in Modesto at the time, because it was something unprecedented. You got to understand, man, that you usually have a lot of north-south. There's issues that happen, Vatos killing each other. It's just, it's all business, nothing personal. Live to murk another day. It is what it is. But there being so many Jainas involved, chicks, women, it was a little different, and them establishing and planting their flags as Sureñas was just a trip, And I reviewed some of the court documents, kind of looked into it, and it was just a cold game, how a lot of these Jainas were manipulated into believing something that they really weren't, or honestly truly believing that they were down for a cause that they didn't really know nothing about. When investigated and asked about their cause and why they chose to be sureños or sureñas or whatever the case may be, they couldn't tell you why. What they could tell you was that they thought it was fun. They thought it was, it was what they were supposed to do as young Chicanas. They thought that kicking it with the homies and going out there and doing these things without being pressed or pressured to do it was, what they were supposed to do, basically. And a lot of autos feel that way. Young gang members feel that way, when you don't have to press upon them and they feel like they have to impress you. They have to go out there and they're on some Bangladesh shit that you're going to look at them as in a higher stature. You know what I mean? Like, oh, that Vato's down. He's a hitter. He's with it. But at the same time, man, anyone could pull a trigger, man. There's a lot of Vatos that ain't hitters, and then there's a whole definition of Vatos that are, right? These Hyenas definitely were not hitters, but they did do it. You can't take that from them. They did go out there. They did make the moves. And this was a bungled fucking event. They stabbed their own. Hyena started telling. Vatos flipping. But what were these guys to fucking, what were they thinking? Taking all these hyenas with them to go do this movida. Of course, man, the placas are going to break these chicks, man. The placas know how to manipulate. And I'm not saying women are weak, man. There's some women that will hold their mud like a motherfucker better than a lot of vatos. But at the same time, and in this correct fashion, I will say that the placas know the ways to manipulate a woman and how to get her to break it down. So it's good. They use all kinds of tactics. I'll take your kids. Just get you, and in this case, they were younger hyenas. So, they're telling them, hey, you're going to do life. You'll never fucking have a pipote in you. These hunters are like, wait, hold up. So you're saying that if I don't take the deal right now, there won't never be another pipa in my life. Not a 10 to 2, not a 12-incher, no nada. Yeah. Well, check it out. So the vato named Sebastian, he did it, right? You know what I mean? This is how they get down. The placas know how to manipulate. And some of these hunters like, fuck it, Holmes, la primera. You know what I mean? I'm down. There's always Jolly Ranchers in Valley State Prison. I ain't tripping. Well, Sasuke, I hope you like fucking green apple, because that's all you got coming. That and fucking the blue ones. Those always taste good, que no? So Trip, this case goes down. One of the hyenas does flip. A couple other ones say a little too much. And at the end of the day, man, you have a whole bunch of young kids that had a future ahead of them. Young Chicanos, our future Latinos, locked up all over some imaginary lines, all over North and South. Now, I'm not here to promote don't go out there and gangbang. I'm not here to promote, man, that these barrios, anything derogatory towards any of these hoods or these barrios. I am here to promote, man, the propensity of prosperity for the people. When I say the people, I mean Chicano people, raza, people is in general, all people, minorities as a whole. So when I see cases like this time and time again, man, some stand out to me, some don't. Some are just Johnny come latelys. It happens. But this one just hit my eye because there's a lot of hyenas that got involved. And I'm like, man, they're still out there utilizing hyenas. Back in my days, we used to do the same thing. We used to have a couple homegirls, man. But we were different, man. If we were going to go do a lick, we already knew better, man. It was already like this. Like, Sasuke, watch out. If this chick wants to ride with us, she's going to get bopped as soon as we're done, indubitably. The homeboys already knew what time it was, especially with me, because I was like, they're going to flip her, bro. If we get caught up, she's going to tell. That's right off the top. So I didn't even want to take the chance. And little did they know that the same homeboy that I was talking to too, I was going to bop his ass too, man. He's probably thinking the same thing with me. Everyone was going to go down. So I was scared it was going to be like that movie fucking The Hateful Eight. We were all going to be dead. I thought, orale, and in that fashion. So, you chose not to go out there and do some crime unless you were willing to do the time or take a bullet to the dome one time for your mind. Definitely. But it just stood out to me, this case, man, because these hyenas were involved. I'm seeing Vato still utilizing chicks after all this time. And you got to understand, man, women play an intricate part in the pieces of the puzzle, man, of what Vato's got going on, A man wouldn't be shit without a woman. This is a man's world, but at the end, man, they're nothing without a woman. You feel me? And so women play a big part into this whole lot of gang shit, this gang life. But to see that they're really out there wiggling, mad because of over spray paint, and you fuck my homeboy up, and that's my homie Pac-Man. Look, I'm a homegirl, right? Well, you see what the homegirl got. She got fucking 11 inches from fucking Larry Looney Tunes, and she got a life sentence. It be like that sometimes, you know what I mean? She can't work at the taco shop no more, and there ain't no more Pac-Man to save her in a direct fashion. Anyways, so, man, I just wanted to say, it's a cold game what's going on out there with the youth, and pay attention to what's going on around you. You got a lot of hyenas getting caught up surrounding things that they don't even know about, and a lot of homeboys getting caught up behind hyenas because, man, they pillow talk or they take hyenas with them in a direct fashion. Back in my days, like I said, in Menudo style, man, we wouldn't fucking do all that. We knew better. That's why we do better. You know, the 90s is when you wiggled. You know, nowadays I ain't gonna say nothing about the tight pants generation. I'm sure, man, motherfuckers will Bangladesh you. So I'm scared, but they'll have the hyenas right there with them doing it in pocket. It's crazy. You know what I mean? Back in our days, hey, you could drive. You know what I mean? And then she was gonna catch a hot one. Anyways, at the end of the day, I hope that you guys move fast with a purpose. You got everything that you want coming to you. Remember, that's called hustling. Get out there and get something for your family. Get out there and get something for your people. You know, go to church on Sundays. Go see what that's about. You know, see what the raza is doing, man. Give back to the gente. You know, lately, the gun, man, I've been giving back to the gente, and I've been getting blessed tenfold. It's a crazy thing. It's called karma. It's a good thing. Um, I promote unity for all the people. You know, it's nothing but respect and love for all those. For all my haters, man, it's nothing but love and respect. I ain't tripping. You're mad at me, but I ain't mad at you. You know, keep rocking your good rhyme, and I'm going to keep rocking mine because that's what we do. You know, the shit don't stop. And in that fashion, the gun, bang, bang.